What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We're gonna recap UFC 294, Makhachev, Volkanovski 2, Abu Dhabi, where and still champion Islam Makhachev KO. But as always, go down, like and subscribe, comment your thoughts on the card because it was a fucking banger from top to bottom. We love to hear y'all's feedback. I'm Paul Pickle Wyndham Concha, and I'm joined with.
You already know, man. It's the realest in the game, Kev Waterboy Boy, aka the Don PY, aka the Street Fighter enthusiast, but always the people's champ. You feel me? And boy, oh boy, Paul. I mean, Abu Dhabi, motherfuckers said they was niggas was said they was up at 7 a.m. watching the prelims, the early prelims, like. And the first three fights was decisions. I took that as disrespect. I was like, couldn't have been me. But 2 p.m. in the mid 2 p.m. Eastern time in the middle of the fucking day, we got to see a lit ass fucking card, Pablo. Before we talk any fights, before we talk anything, I know you was working, but what was the energy like when you was like peeping or trying to keep on point with this shit?
Oh, I stayed on point. I had this shit going. I was breaking it down because my one coworker, he knows what it is. Like he knows UFC. He was also kind of like wingman in it, but like I was telling him, I was like, this is Abu Dhabi, baby. Like this is we going Islam, and then I'm trying to break down like well Volkanovski it was supposed to be Oliveira. Oliveira was supposed to do the rematch, and then Volkanovski stepped in. But I was sitting there lit anytime I could. It wasn't super busy, so I could. There was like gaps of period where I was missing, and I was just in the back watching. Um, it was a good thing that the main event was a quick one. Main event, I was only gone for about 3 minutes before I was back.
3 minutes and 6 seconds. Get it right.
Well, it was dumb lit. I mean, I like having cards start at nighttime. It definitely felt like a nighttime type of card, but I mean, technically it was nighttime over there. But I'm not upset for the early fights either. I'm top to bottom. I felt like this was a great card, and if people were to listen to the picks, you definitely would have made a lot of money because I know I did.
Oh man, I mean, I respect it to the fullest. It was a great fucking card, but you just always got Abu Dhabi's always gonna put you in that mode. Just the vibes that comes with Abu Dhabi, like everybody being in white in the all the crowd being in white, like it just puts you in that. I don't know what it is. This that Fight Island. It just puts like, yo, we cared. Like we cared about every inch of this. So it was cool. It was a great card. My energy and vibes was at 10 though. Like every little thing had me ready to go. Like if you told me if we was in attendance, Paul, we would have got in trouble. We would have tried to jump in the octagon. I mean, like that's how lit I was. Lit and dialed in on everything. So it was a pretty fucking great card. And I will respect champions, no other champions. That boy Islam, best in the world. It's crazy. I know niggas gonna hate. Niggas gonna say he beat a featherweight. How's he the best in the world? Because he beat the best in the world twice.
See, the worst part is about that same crowd that says he beat a feather. Those are the same people that were probably picking Volkanovski to win. And then
Yeah,
all of a sudden the tune gets changed afterwards, like, oh, congrats, you beat a featherweight.
on 11 days' notice.
Yeah, like come on now. Like one thing I hate is a sore loser, bro. Like take your L and keep it moving.
I will say Volk is definitely a true champion for
It's
sure.
not Volk. Yeah, it's definitely not Volk. That's the one doing this.
It's his fan base. You feel me? Volk is a true champion, but Islam is best in the world. I don't see nobody fuck. My favorite thing of what I've learned about UFC so far is not watching the person climb. It's like just watching them climb and just thinking like, yo, they're untouchable. Like, who the fuck is gonna be able to beat this guy one day?
The
Like, there was a
gaps for
point.
a little period.
Yeah, there was a point in time. Kamaru untouchable, motherfucking Izzy unfuckwittable, and the next thing you know, Alex and Deshaun come through and change the entire narrative of the game.
No longer does gap people speak of. And it takes away the mystique because I feel like sometimes these unbeaten champs are like even the fighters have a mental blockage of like, I can't beat this guy. He's unbeatable. But like if someone else comes and knock him off, then you start seeing these people lose one after the other. Not one after the other, but then you start realizing like, oh, they're human.
Yeah, I feel like that's what happened with a lot of people at RDA and shit. But but yeah, it was beautiful, man. I love this fucking card. I love this sport. I'm not gonna lie to you. And Real champions recognize other real champions.
Did you get to check out the UFC debut for Shara Magomedov against?
That's when I tuned in.
Yeah, that's the first fight of the card against Bruno Silva, ranked middleweight opponent for his debut. And I mean, I don't want to say light work, but I mean, it was another day in the office for me. It looked like with my boy Shara.
Bro, I came in this bitch thinking Bruno Silva is like a tough ass motherfucking Brazilian, and he's just not fuck wittable. I know that what this taught me is that Bruno Silva is a tough ass motherfucking Brazilian, and he's not fuck wittable. But Shaw Magomedov, nobody's touching him for a minute. He's coming to run this division.
Middleweight is wide open. I mean, we do have some more middleweights to talk at the co-main event stuff, but like young talent, another Dagestani Russian. Got the Muay Thai. The crazy thing is he's gonna be fun to watch because he's not gonna be using wrestling. He's gonna be throwing elbows in the clinch, dirty boxing, throwing knees, kicks. At middleweight, it should be fun actually.
Yeah, I mean, Jid is nice, and he's cool people. I thought he was gonna be like a robot. No, that's pretty straight.
He well, the one issue with him though is the United States Commission isn't gonna greenlight him. The reason why he got his UFC debut was because they're in Abu Dhabi. Like,
Really?
yeah, Abu Dhabi Commission, it's probably the prince himself that's like, yeah, I want to see him fight. like, okay, you can fight him
Oh,
here.
so because he has one eye, they're not gonna let him fight.
Yeah, that's why his big. That's why people are saying, "Oh, is he a future champ?" And someone made a good point. Not until he can't be a future champ because there's no way he'll fight enough unless they're going to Abu Dhabi a lot. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
That's crazy. You think they might let him? Yeah, they got to go to a couple of different countries. Anything out of this country, they put him on. Like he probably gonna fight it on the next UFC Singapore.
Shit, I don't even know because Bisping had trouble trying to fight once at like the over there in London and everything. I actually don't
Really?
know the full story of how he was able to do to what he is able to do. So like there may be some things he could work around with. I'm not sure, but shout out Dre Miley. He's big on like let the one eye fighters fight like himself, and it's just United States commissions aren't really fucking with that.
Yeah, I mean, bro probably has to really go on a tear, and they'd be like, "Yo, bro, it's either you let him fight, like he's showing that he can hold his own."
But let's move around this card right here. We're gonna talk back to back underdog wins because I mean this was for the most part most of the favorites won this card, but started off Naimov beating Nathaniel Goodwood. I mean he at one point I won't say it was a robbery, but Naimov kicked him in the dick multiple times. I don't even remember this. Yeah, that's a big thing for this fight. It's like there was a point where even the commentator was like, "All right, this is the second clear violation. He's going to lose a point here." He didn't. He did go on and he wins a unanimous decision, all 29-28s. But if he would have lost that point in that round, it's 28-28 draw. Um, so that's like the big controversy from this fight. But I mean, other than the dick kicks that were very clear, he definitely won the fight. Like Nathaniel Wood had moments in the third round where he looked good, but like the first two rounds, this is all him.
I mean, well, first off, dick kicks is crazy. I've never heard that one before.
Hey,
But I mean, this was a fight. This was one of the fights I was watching. I was just sitting there thinking, like, oh wow. It's always the ones I like because we were so high on Nathaniel Wood, but for the most part, Brett just kept control of the fight and he pushed pace.
yeah, and then the other underdog, I didn't make it my official pick, but I warned people. Mike Breeden gets the knockout over Anshul Jubli, and I told people Jubli is not a three minus 300 favorite. Do not put him in a parlay. Do not bet on him. I honestly should have betted on the Mike Breeden to win at the big odds. I didn't. I didn't listen to my own advice, but Jubli is they pushed him so quickly, and I'm not saying Mike Breeden's a world beater. He was honestly like another loss from getting kicked out the organization type of a trajectory he was on. But he ragdolled trash competition, and then now he's in the UFC, and it's gonna be exposed. 7-1. He was winning the fight. I'll give him that. He was winning the fight prior to it, but Mike Breeden is somebody you should at -3. There's a reason you're -300 odds. Like you should have. This should have been a steamroll.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? This shit was hurtful because they gotta keep Jubilee because they need them an Indian fighter. He's the only brown. He's one of the few from brown fighters in the UFC. So we got nothing but love for Jubilee. But yeah, bro got caught. How did he get knocked out exactly? I think I walked off for
He
that
was
shit.
getting, he was. I don't know if he got gassed out, but his hand started to fall, and Breeden was like landing some mean combos, and it was like, whenever like that shot that starts landing late, and you see it, like
Oh,
he's getting pieced up, and he's like every punch that lands is like rocking him, and then he gets knocked down, and it was like on the feet for a good 45 seconds. You're sitting there like, yo, Jubilee's is in some danger right now. Like he's getting hurt.
mm-hmm.
Should
I
not
mean,
be
yeah.
-300 favorite. And did you catch the next? I actually wasn't able to catch the next couple of fights until the main card started. So did you get anything
Really?
here exciting?
I caught Trevor Peek and Muhammad Yahya.
That's the one I actually mad I missed because Trevor Peek is known for like he's just a ferocious brawler. Like he makes these fights very dirty and fun. And like I didn't get to see the fight.
The first thing I said in the chat was like, "Yo, this is a barroom brawl." Like, I mean, he just kept pushing. He just kept hitting him. Like that was the best way to explain it. He just stayed on his ass. Like, what's it say? He landed 83 strikes, 61 significant strikes. Don't get me wrong, it was still like the strike totals were close, 61 to like 43. But I just feel like Trevor Peek was just hitting him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like he was
He
really
never stops moving forward. Like you have to really hit him with something to like phase him, and he just makes everything exciting. That's why I'm mad I missed this fight because Trevor P. He's not like technical. Like he's just old fashioned. Let's duke it out.
Let's fucking fight. I mean, that's the vibes it came. We got like 230-27s, and I was like, that's a pretty fair scorecard.
And then this is when I jump back into it. Muhammad Mokaev getting the submission win over Tim Elliott, and it was, I mean, a
It was the
fairly
ninja choke, right?
huh?
That was the ninja choke or the arm triangle.
Arm triangle.
Mm.
But it was fair. I mean, some of the people, I won't say it was super close where Mokaev was probably going to lose, but people were arguing that Tim Elliott was making it a lot closer in some of the scrambles, and it's definitely on the feet. But, I mean, I feel like people just say that because a lot of these people do not like, and for whatever reason, Muhammad Mokaev is not a well-liked person on the MMA Twitter. For whatever reason, he's not. People do not really fuck with him. Maybe it's because he's another Dagestani, but he's also like British Dagestani. I don't know, but I felt like he looked pretty good. He got the dominant control time. There was a couple times where Tim Elliott looked better than you probably expected him to look, but that doesn't mean he won. That doesn't mean he was winning. And like Makai was just continues to win.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If this was this fight or if it was the said fight when he like picked him up like almost in a sense like he almost like fireman carried him in a sense, turned his ass over, and then that's when he took control and eventually got the submission. Was that the Makayev fight?
I believe it was the said fight that whenever
That was the step.
yeah.
Oh, I was about to say I couldn't remember when that shit happened, but I was like, yo, that was Makayev. He was low key a fucking boss. But you know who I thought Makayev was? Remember the dude that was getting subbed last year, and he like his fucking his like knee was like bent damn near.
Yeah, that is Makayev.
Oh,
this is the first time we've seen him since the leg, and like people were wondering if it like is his leg all right. We haven't seen him. He usually fights like right after the other. This is the one time he took like a little break in between.
Oh, Jen is a hitter. Why they hating on my dog?
That's what I think he's the most like one of the most well-rounded flyweights there is. Like I'm telling you, I think it's just the Habib effect. Like the Habib and Islam. You don't like Habib and Islam, like you just don't like any of these like people that are very similar to him.
I think that's crazy. That's I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty racist. But
that is very nice. I didn't want to say
that's pretty fucking racist. But like maybe you could say you hate the Dagestani wrestling, but like that's damn near like you got to see what your problem is with the Islam culture, like Islamic culture.
Look within. All right.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna lie to you. You gotta do better. If you hate all the niggas, you gotta do better, kid.
Hey, but then the next fight on the list said Saeed Nurmagomedov gets the submission win over Min Gafarov. I know I'm butchering his name, but
I was gonna say, good shit. I'm noticing that you've been practicing your phonics. You took the John Annex. You got the John Annex phonics class, didn't you?
trying to.
But yeah, I mean, said I don't know who Saeed is. I actually do know somebody named Saeed, but said is motherfucking him. He just came off a loss, right?
Yep.
In the double back, looked great. And if this is the fight where he fucking picked bro up, literally fucking picked bro up, made him look, turned him over, and then locked this shit in, that was fucking dirty.
And this is another fight. I mean, we were already pretty high on said, but Jonathan Martinez, like I can't keep hitting this nail back home. Like he walked through Adrian Yanez and he beat Saeed on a unanimous decision, another leg kick masterpiece. But I mean, how good is Jonathan Martinez if like Saeed is the guy, but like he's his one loss is because of Jonathan Martinez.
I mean, Johnny Martin Martinez might be a fucking hitter. I'm not gonna lie to you, but that boy Saeed said it's guillotine season. You know, we like to see them boys get locked in.
Locked it up, and it was quick too. Like once it was in, it was in.
Out of there, get me up out of here. Don't need no more.
This was didn't he also stop before the ref stopped it?
Kind. I think the ref stopped it. Oh no, I'm thinking of Islam fight. Uh, don't quote me on that one. I have to rewatch
There
that.
was I just know there was one fight in this car where someone was getting submitted and like they stopped it and like went to celebrate before the fight was over and they were like, "Well, you're not supposed to stop before the ref stops it, but like good on him to know that like you just won this fight already. Like no need to
Yeah,
do."
but
But then,
I was gonna say, how's did you have anything else about this fight?
nah, it was. I mean, it was quick.
Yeah, I was saying this was a good one. I mean, you know, smooth. That's this one is what kind of got me lit because this kind of set up the next three fights.
Yeah, the next fight was kind of. I mean, it was so much hype to it. We got Mega Man and oh, no mind. I skipped one. Ikram
Yeah, don't skip
Askarov.
my dog. My Alaskarov. That motherfucker got hands, bro. I swear to you, bro, hit dude with like an anime type combo to finish this fight, Paul. Like, bro, just said, da-da-da-da. Like you would have thought it was JoJo type shit. Like really spazzed out.
And you know, like that's a nasty K over Alves. Coming off an even nastier one hitter quitter on Phil Halls. And the scariest part about him is he's not a striker.
What?
He's a sambo specialist. He get before coming to UFC, he was submitting people left and right, like Kimuras, knee bars. Like he was his only loss once again is to Chimaev, and we can't wait to see that they run it back. But yeah, before coming to the UFC, he had 5 submission guillotines, arm bars, Kimuras.
Wow. I'm
We've
not gonna lie.
only seen the stand up from him, and he looks scary as fuck.
Wow. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's the one that taught me there's no such thing as a rope a dope in UFC. Like there's no sitting on the rope taking, but no, you get on that fucking cage, you're dead.
Yeah, don't want your back on the cage.
Do not lean back.
And, I mean, that's the fight that it's maybe slow. I mean, one day after he gets a couple more wins and Chimaev might be champion, they get the rematch. I can see it now. Like neither one has lost since, type shit.
That'd be cool.
But this is the fight I accidentally almost skipped ahead to. But Mega Man Ankalaev, Johnny Walker, all the smoke and everything, just to lead to a no contest. Word on the street was like Johnny Walker was still trying to get out there.
You said word on the street. No, that is exactly what motherfucking happened. So don't get me wrong. I think Ankalaev, like within just 2 minutes of this fight, Ankalaev was like, I think he had it. Like he was really in this bitch to win. But motherfucking when he got the knee, he kneed Johnny Walker on the floor. That shit was fucking crazy. Like it wasn't like it didn't look like a terrible knee, but it was definitely a blatant knee to the floor. And then Johnny Walker's talking to the doctor, but they're talking way longer than they need to. Like, and I'm looking like, dang, he's asking a lot of questions. He's looking like he's about to wave this bitch off. Next thing you know, he looks at the ref and shakes his head. You know what he fucking asked Johnny Walker?
where are you, right?
Yeah, and the motherfucker said, "We're in the desert," and they waved that bitch off. I know, and not I know. I witnessed how visually upset he was about that shit. He looked at, he's like, "No, I'm fine, I'm fine." He's literally telling Aqualife, "Come, come, 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 fight, 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 niggas." Because it starts off with just him and the rep, and the reps and Aqualife and about to run it, and security starts getting in these bits. So now it's 3 security. Then it turns to 6 security. And then there's like the fucking entire octagon is full. You got Dana talking to Johnny Walker. And then that's at that point in time is when I realized how big of a person Johnny Walker is.
Oh, he's
And
massive.
there wasn't a single person that got on the octagon that made me think, oh, you can match up with him pound for pound. Like there wasn't
Their
not
best bet was to have Ankalaev run security real quick.
not for real. And Ankalaev was like, bro, if you want to fight, we can fight. And yeah, that shit was crazy. I personally wouldn't have called it, but that
Oh
shit was
no, bro. Obi said we in the desert. They really they saved Ankalaev's life because like Johnny Walker's about to go out there thinking it's a fight to the death in the desert or some shit.
nah. I mean, they're in Abu Dhabi. Like that's probably what he told himself all fucking week. Like, yo, bro, we're going to the desert. I actually wish I probably got to check Ariel Hawani. You know, Ariel Hawani probably had his coach on
Oh,
there.
I'm pretty sure he was already on the episode.
Yeah, and I'll hear what his coach has to say about it. But and also, I don't think Johnny Walker speaks English.
I
So
think
there
he
was
speaks some. I mean, might not, I know because when he first came, he spoke like no English as like the John Jones killer, and but then he slowly, you become a marketable star in UFC, and he started learning some English.
and I think his wife speaks English, so I could be wrong. But it was like if a translator came up to him and asked him that question, I feel like that would have been like, oh, okay, look it up. Some doctor, like in the meat of the moment, like, and you called the fight off because of that. I mean, I don't want to talk about this fight anymore longer, but I wouldn't call that shit off.
I will say my final comments on this fight is just like the light heavyweight division is might be cursed. Like
Yeah.
we keep trying
Oh,
to get number one contender fights, and they always this is another number one contender fight that we have yet to get a real number one contender.
dead ass. You literally let some niggas you let some dude come into your weight class and become the number one contender.
Yeah,
But
John versus Ankalaev that ended in a fucking draw, and now this.
the fucking Yuri getting hurt, Jamal Hill
And
getting
Jamal
hurt.
Hill getting hurt. Like,
Now this shit is crazy. Ever since John Jones and DC left. But I will say this. That right there happening made me like really look at the perspective of the fact that um I'm not gonna say Aljo won his belt through just called no contest, but Jan lost the belt on something that in every other fight that would have been a no contest.
yeah, no, a lot of people were arguing that Johnny Walker should get the win, and they brought up the Aljo example. There was a couple there were like it was a deliberate knee. Look at some examples where how it went fast. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, end of the day, Dana White gets what the final say what he wants to fucking do.
Right. They're not doing that in Abu Dhabi.
But on to the next fight. This one, some controversy around it. Kamaru Usman loses to Khamzat Chimaev. Majority decision 27-29, 28-28, and 27-29. Some people had the first round 10-8 for Chimaev, I believe it was, which was a big controversial point. A lot of people saying Usman won the second and third round. How the hell did he lose this? Who did you think won this fight?
They think he won the second and third round.
They saying that the third round that because I thought Chimaev won based on it was pretty equal on the stand up, but then Chimaev gets the takedown for like a minute and a half, and that was like the only thing that to me I was like that's the major point of that round was that takedown. Chimaev won that round based off no one else did anything else, but a lot of people are arguing like in that round Usman was landed more strikes and more accurate strikes. And when the one takedown Chimaev got, he didn't do anything with it. You can't take, control versus damage. Da 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 da.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. If it wasn't for the fact of Islam versus Volk one, I probably would have been able to been in. I would have been arguing with them boys like, yeah, man, Usman got it. Nah, we know that they care about this fucking control time. Like they want that control time, and they ride. there's a right, and the riding time is respected in the UFC by a lot of judges. So that's why I thought he got the 10-8 the first round. So I wasn't tripping when I heard the 28-28 because I was like, it's not a terrible decision. And then so I got the 10-8 the first round, but I can understand if you didn't give him the first round. I gave him a 10-8 because he got the takedown. He literally held him the entire round, and he was still adding damage, and he didn't give him a chance to punch back. So I get that. I mean, if you want to give Usman a third round, you can. I can see how you can give him the second for sure. But if you want to give him the third round, you can. But I probably wouldn't have just because of the takedown, because that's what I thought. I was like, okay, he did kind of straight that second round. And then when that third round comes, like, ooh, you gotta let go, you gotta give it to his ass. And eventually he got out, but like there's only so much. They really respect that right in time.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was 29-28 to Chimaev. I didn't give him 10-8 the first round, but I can see how you can argue it. Only round I gave Usman was the second round. Um,
Yeah.
but outside of that, I mean, I felt like Chimaev, he didn't win and he didn't finish him. I feel like Usman, I won't say his knees looked better because he wasn't shooting no fucking takedowns. He could only defend takedowns. And I feel like that Usman moving forward that cannot shoot takedowns is such a limited fighter.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any submission. So it's like, even if he was to take somebody down, like, what the fuck would you have done?
And his striking didn't look really good until people were respecting the takedown. Like Jorge Masvidal, if it was just a pure standing fight and he knew he wasn't going to get taken down, Masvidal probably wouldn't be getting caught with that mean one hitter quitter. But like the fact that you have to pay, like the amount of respect people were giving him, and I would say it also shows Leon Edwards pretty fucking good.
I mean, you do got to bring in the 11 days notice. You can't forget that. I think that fight on a full fight camp goes a little different. But we also gotta recognize the fact that I'm pretty sure Hamza like broke his right hand because you can see it. At first, I thought he was gassed during the fight, but I felt like there was something that he was compromised because he definitely wasn't going letting go and letting it out like he usually does. So, well, this fight, my takeaways from the fight was Usman is an OG. Usman is nice. And if Usman was like 34, like 33, 32, I'd have been like, oh yeah, he can make another run for the title. But Khamzat is a demon. Like literally the way he was looking before the fight, talking about some happy as fuck. And then there was no rust, even though he hasn't fought in like what, 9 months?
It's been a minute.
9, 10 months. Like it's been, I'm a firm believer you don't get good and better at something by not doing it. So the fact that Hamzat was able to just look like a killer and have no rust on it is like, ooh, it's gonna be a long road for Deshaun Strickland.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the next fight that's already being talked about being made, and Hamzat opening as the favorite in the Sean Strickland fight, which only, I mean, it only makes sense. But Sean Strickland showing the world that he can do whatever the fuck he wants right now.
Yeah, he doesn't even give a fuck about the belt, truthfully. He just wants to keep on fighting. But once Hamzat gets the belt, I don't know who was touching that. Bo Nickel can try.
I'm telling you, where the Bo Nickel is gonna be like America versus Russia. It's gonna
Yeah.
be some
And they're
Rocky
gonna be
movie shit.
fact. They're gonna be talking shit too. They're gonna be on some like this is American wrestling. Our boys scored points. We fight to the death.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait for that one. Our main event, though, I tried
Oh,
to get you on the team, my man. Islam Makhachev is the pound for pound 1 or 1A, depending on where you put John Jones. But Islam Makhachev defending the belt, getting the first round KO via head kick, and then following up with some punches and a vicious ground and pound on Volkanovski, who is still the great. I mean, we haven't seen him lose to anybody in his weight class in fucking years. So like people that trying to like talk down on Volk, chill the fuck out. Like he unlike Charlo who went to go get the bag against Canelo, Volk actually dared to be great, and we saw it in the octagon.
not a fact. And my take on this was like Islam is exactly who you say he is. Islam, world's best fighter, the world's number one religion, now world's number one fighter. Um,
Alhamdulillah.
I mean, inshallah, but I respect it. I'm not an Islam chop, and if you get it, because like if you're a Muslim, you can't eat pork, so it's an Islam chop. So it's not a pork chop, Islam chop. But I respect the true champion, and he's fucking. And that picture was so cold, like shh. So yeah, there's nobody in that division that's fucking with him. The best person that could have probably did something was Volk. And it wasn't just the fact that he knocked him out. It was the fact that he did exactly what they planned, and they didn't change up their game plan because it went from Charles Oliveira to Volk. He knows he's the best fighter around, so he doesn't have to switch it up. But what killed me was the fact that when he did the ground and pound, he put his knee under Volk's chin. So Volk just had to sit there and take that shit like doof, doof, doof. It looked like genuine like anime shit. And I was like, that's cold. Like he's just so calculated. The fact that they could put together a game plan like that and it worked. Him and Khabib is fucking scary.
Yeah, and I mean, Oliveira doesn't even seem like he's interested in a rematch. He's calling out Conor McGregor on if he wants to return fight, he should fight him. And I'm sitting. I mean, he was champion, so I give him a lot more respect. But I'm looking at him like this motherfucker turned into Dustin Poirier.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
like it went from all about the gold to all about the green. It mattered out one Irish leprechaun.
Nah, dead eyes. I mean, literally, that's the biggest Dustin Poirier move. But there's nobody fucking with Islam. Shout out Volk. Let's keep him busy. You can tell this fucking loss hurt him because he hasn't been knocked out, and I don't know.
Oh, he did say he was going through stuff. Like, he was like mentally, like he took the fight not just for the fight, but like he wasn't in a good place mentally, and like fighting keeps him in a good place and shit. So like he had to take the fight for his own mental health. I was like, if that's not the most like warrior shit I've heard, like you need to be in the cage at all times.
Hell yeah. That's real shit, man. So yeah, he's a true champion. Nothing but respect and love to my favorite fighter, Alexander Volkanovski. And did you see the when he got back to the airport and the New Zealand dudes were doing their tribal dance?
Oh no, I didn't, but that's mad respect.
I always wonder how the fuck do people know what airport, what airplane, what time these motherfuckers began getting back? Because like I always see like when the Bulls or like Muhammad Ali, there are
It's
just people
probably
that
they're probably hitting up like they're not talking to the fighter themselves, but probably someone on the PR team or something like, and they're like keep it on the hush, like don't let him know, but like they be like having that shit prepared.
yeah, it has to be. But the thing also was, it wasn't a lot of people though. That's what got me. I was just like, this motherfucker, like somebody, like he must have knew somebody at the airport and said, "Hey, yo, folks, coming back. Let's hit our dance real quick on there." Because he definitely didn't know they was gonna be there. But shout out Volk, man. He's definitely one of the best. Islam is gonna go down as one of the best because there's nobody in his division that can fuck with him. He's in a stacked division.
And people are trying to clamor in and maybe Justin Gaethje shot. Like I'm like I don't know who the fuck you're putting. Like none of like he's not none of these people are winning. Like there's gonna take some new blood or something. But like the Justin Gaethje's, the Poirier, the Oliveira, they're not gonna beat him. Like they've already tried.
Yeah, they tried and it wasn't close. I
But
mean,
we
he
gotta
got
get out of here. We appreciate everybody watching. UFC 294 was stacked. We're gonna have a break on the UFC. Well, UFC's taking a break this weekend. Everyone make way for Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. We'll have our picks on that and breakdown and just discussion of the whole thing later this week. But in the NFL, stay tuned for the Thursday night picks and the weekly picks for week 8. I'm Paul Pickle Winham. That's Kevin Waterboy Savoy, street fight enthusiast. It's been another episode of Totally Blitz Podcast. And if y'all didn't know, well, now y'all know, motherfuckers.